Do you ever get the feeling that you buy way too many box sets? Well, let's take a look at the best and worst of them, shall we? Welcome classic rock fans to a short video where I discuss some of the best box sets in my collection and some of those that are just a bit disappointing, shall we say. If you're new to this channel, please do click like, subscribe and check that notification bell. As in the words sung by Steven Tyler, you don't miss a thing. And check some of the links below this video for ways you can support the sterling work done at the channel. It's always much appreciated. The first one in my collection is this one, Joni Mitchell, Archives Volume 2. This spans, in my opinion, her best period. This takes us from those sun-dappled numbers, as one critic pointed out, straight into the parlour with the piano and more sombre tones, I think, which we got on Blue, which many argue is her best album. What makes this great is the sheer wealth of material on there. Absolutely wonderful demos, live concerts, live at Carnegie Hall, live at the Coffee House, March 19th, 1968. Would have been 2 days after my birthday when I was born. Ladies of the Canyon demos, in-concert BBC radio broadcast, I think that was done with James Taylor. If you're a fan of what I consider her best period, this is definitely a set worth owning. And number 9 is this one, the Beach Boys, Pet Sounds. This is the 50th anniversary edition. I think what I love more about this is pure and simple, the stereo mix of the album on here sounds fabulous. But you get loads and loads of stuff in the Pet Sounds sessions and live stuff. Not sure how much of it hasn't been released before, but this is certainly one of my favourite box sets in terms of how often I play it. And number 8 is this one, Blondie Against the Odds, 74-82. It's a humongous set that harvests together everything. And you get the incredibly detailed and informative book that comes with this, which is packed with vintage photographs of Debbie Harry, which every big bouncing boy needs, I think. This is just fabulous. If you love Blondie, that sort of New York punk scene, all that CBGB stuff that was going on, this is a set that would not be amiss in your collection. Number 7 is David Bowie's Divine Symmetry. What's fabulous about this is it harvests together all the recordings, demos, live sessions surrounding arguably his best album, which is Hunky Dory. And as Hunky Dory is one of my favourite Bowie albums, this was a must-have as far as I'm concerned. And as well as the remarkable audio content, you get this fabulous hardback book. Now that's what I call a stiffy. This, of course, is packed with information, rare photographs, paraphernalia. I'll show you some of the stuff. Photographs like that are just brilliant, aren't they? Loads of text about the album, the making of the album. It's one for a real Bowie fan, I think. And I love the photographs you get in here of things like newspaper clippings, tickets and all sorts of things. This is a really most excellent set. And number 6 is the definitive edition of Bruce Springsteen's The River. A lot of you, I know Springsteen's a divisive figure, of course, and a lot of you be howling in rage the fact I've held this up, but I love this album. I'm a big Springsteen fan anyway. But what's great about this is the amount of material that was rejected from the, of course the original album was going to be a single album, Ties That Bind. But Springsteen wanted something that was more expansive and it meanders, very much like the river itself. What a poignant analogy. But the amount of material on here that was didn't quite make the album, but it's still bloody fantastic, if you don't mind me saying so. Anyway, so Springsteen's The Ties That Bind, The River collection is one of my favourite sets. Number 5 is Jethro Tull's Songs from the Wood. Not specifically this album, but this is a kind of a placeholder for all those Tull box sets, which are the exemplar of what box sets really should be. Lots of care and attention to detail goes into these. There's a wealth of material, even finding stuff in the archives that I didn't even know existed. But it's not just the sound. I love Steven Wilson's remixes. They're very sympathetic to the original. But and the changes are quite subtle, but necessary, I think. But it's a sheer wealth of audio material and unreleased audio material that is uncovered for these sets, including live material, DVD, concerts and things like that they find and dust off. But there's also the books that come with these, which is a really deep and thorough exploration of this time period, of this album. And Ian Anderson's well on board with this, I think, which makes all the difference. Anyway, so I'd say number 5, are the Jethro Tull box sets. And number 4 is one that I've recently acquired and I'm still going through it, and this is this hefty bastard, and that is Camel Airborne. A huge set which has absolutely everything on it. You couldn't believe the wealth of material on here. I certainly had to acquire this camel set and certainly mention it in this video, otherwise a lot of you would have got the ump. See what I did there? Anyway, another appealing thing about this set is it actually contains a remix or remaster of the Most Wonderful Stationary Traveller album. I think I'm probably the only prog fan out there that loves Camel's Stationary Traveller. I don't know if there's anyone else out there that loves it, but it also includes Pressure Points on the Blu-ray disc, which is that VHS concert they released many years ago. Really, really remarkable set that has everything you could possibly want. And if you're a fan of prog, you're a fan of Camel. If you're not a fan of Camel, you don't know them, do check them out. And number 3 is another hernia-inducing set, which is Who's Next? And my God, my testicles have dropped another foot since I've had to lug this big old bastard around the house. And why do I love this so much? Well, apart from it being a pretty awesome album, it's just the sheer wealth of material. It's got lots of paraphernalia and bric-a-brac and badges and posters, all that sort of shit you'll only ever look at once, but it's still nice to have. The Who's Next original album sounds fantastic. I'll try and say that again, sorry. The Who's Next original album sounds absolutely fantastic here. You also get a real insight into the mindfuckery that was the Lifehouse project. It even comes with a comic book to help you out. For me, I love the live stuff. I mean, The Who were a real force to be reckoned with at this time. Hence Live at Leeds, the finest live album ever in my opinion. But on here you get Live at the Young Vic and Live at the Civic Auditorium San Francisco. That's the Who's Next 50th anniversary Dog's Bollocks version. Number 2 is one that's quite easy to cart about, and that is Frank Zappa, the Roxy performances. I mean, the original album was pretty damn awesome, but this collates together all the live stuff recorded. And it's an absolute delight, so you feel like ODing on Frank Zappa's, at times, rather salacious humour, and lots of marimba, of course. This is just the ticket. And number 1 for me is the Beatles' Revolver. If there ever was a box set worth selling a kidney for, it's this one. I mean, I love Giles Martin and what he does with these sets. They're so sensitively and beautifully reconstructed. And the verb reconstructed is appropriate here, because that's exactly what they did in order to give us a new stereo mix. A stereo mix which I never tire of listening to. It's really reinvigorated this album for me. Studio sessions and outtakes that you get on here that gives you a real glimpse into the evolution of these classic albums. But it has to be said, one of the highlights of these are the books that come with them. They're packed with information, packed with unseen photographs and promo posters, everything a mentally ill, obsessive Beatles fan like myself could possibly want. So yeah, I'll go number 1. My favourite box set is this, the brand new Revolver set. So let's dust off a few that I've been somewhat disappointed with. The next one is this one, Cream's Fresh Cream. This is a fabulous album. It's a wonderful box set in many respects. It's got a lot of stuff on here. But for me, the biggest disappointment is the fact that they didn't furnish us with a new stereo mix of this album. The original stereo mix is dreadful, I think. The mono mix is much, much better. But I would have liked a brand new stereo mix of this album. And number 1 for me is this one, Jimi Hendrix Experience Electric Ladyland. This really is a cash grab. It's the quality is not that great. To be honest with you, the paper of the booklet is quite flimsy. And so what's on it? I mean, you get the Electric Ladyland album. I'd rather have just kept my remastered CD version, to be honest with you, than bothered with this. At last, the making of Electric Ladyland, the early takes, it's just stuff that you would perhaps listen to once. And the Live at the Hollywood Bowl from 1968 is just not very good quality, really. So again, I don't know if you would listen to it that often. I don't know how many Hendrix aficionados out there that might say something positive about this set. I just think this is a cash grab. So there you go, that's the best and worst box sets in my collection. I'd love to hear from you as to ones that you love or perhaps don't love so much. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already done so, do click like, subscribe, check that notification bell. And I'll leave you with my closing salvo, which is, as you know, hope you're well, staying safe, and you keep listening.